Hey everybody, welcome back to Battle Ready Inc. So today, I'm excited. I'm going to give to you my rendition of Omnimon Alter S. This is my go-to for 1.5. This is the deck that I'm super excited about playing. Is it the best? I don't know. I think the best is going to really be determined in the first few weeks. It's going to be really close. And that's what makes me so excited about 1.5 is that there's no clear definition of what's the best. So this is what I'm going all in on, and I hope you like it. Alright, so jumping right into it, looking at our eggs here, we finally get Gilmon, and it's probably the best egg we're going to get for quite some time. I don't think 4.0 is going to have us anything new. Set 5 will finally get something that we can replace this with. But Gilmon is essentially like Guardimon, but we can apply it to lower stages. The only drawback of Gilmon is that you might not get it in the first like 2 turns of a match there, right, or of a game. So it takes a little bit to get the effectiveness of it. But once you do, it's super good for the whole rest of the game, which is great. I'd rather have an egg that will last me for most of the game rather than just a short bit. So really excited for Gilmon. We do have Guardimon there as just our 5th egg. I think a 5th egg this time around is fine. There for a while I was getting to that point where I really didn't like my 5th egg options, and I was starting to get to the point where I wanted just to drop of the 5th and just stick to the 4 so I'd have the guaranteed. However, having this is great because Guardimon was our go-to, so that's awesome. Okay. Speaking of Guardimon, here's a little sneak peek. Next month's Patreon reward will be a custom-made Guardimon marker. This is still a prototype, still a work in progress here, but it is coming along. So next month's memory markers, Guardimons, it's going to be great. I can't wait to get a hold of one just to use with this deck specifically. All right, moving on. To our rookies here, we've got Omnimod, of course. Omnimod is a fantastic rookie. Even now, I don't see him being pulled out of any red decks, even in set 5. He is just that good. That inheritable, that plus 1000 DP, is just so applicable everywhere. On your turn, even if you're in the mirror match, just having one Omnimod as your inheritable instantly makes it so you can hit over anything in the mirror match, or just in general being able to hit over things in earlier stages. More specifically, I'm talking about the Omnimon in the mirror matches, being able to just get that 16,000 DP. Boom, you already take care of the other Omnimon. Going on from there, we get a new card, Gilmon here. Finally, Red gets a little bit of memory control here, right? On deletion, if it's your turn, gain 1 memory. So this is great for crashing into security, right? Getting that free memory is just really, it allows you to help make plays, right? Just getting that 1 extra memory could mean so much of a difference. For all you blue players out there, you know, you've had your Gomamons, right, that already had that inheritable. Or if you were doing the, like I did, the Leomon package where you would crash your Leomons on purpose just to get the free memory. This is the same thing, except this time it's a 0 to evolve, right? So you can essentially push and punch and sacrifice and just gain. There is no loss at all, just pure gains. So that's pretty cool. Great new addition here. Moving on here. I did have a little bit of trouble deciding. Ultimately, I went with our 2 0-cost evolutions, 2-cost drops, our vanillas. I did debate running the Gilmon, right? Gilmon was such a great card for 1.0, just like I said, same reason for Gilmon. Just most of the match, he's going to be live. His inheritable is live for most of the match. So that's why I went with him. I did decide to drop him just because we've already got these 2 here, and adding in another 3 play cost seemed a little much, but it was really hard to justify. Okay, so I do want to leave that out there. You could potentially drop one of these for Gilmon. You could maybe put in 2 Gilmons and then 4 of one of these guys instead. So just food for thought when you go into building your own. Next up, we've got same old package here for our level 4s. The level 4s for red were already good, so there wasn't a whole lot we really wanted to change if we even needed to. We got Dark Tyrannomon for our 1-cost evolution. This is really about turboing into Omnimon as fast as possible, because not only do we have the regular Omnimon, we have Alter S as well, so just more reason to just be as memory efficient as possible getting into those higher stages. So Dark Tyrannomon for that. We've got our blockers here of our Guardimons. You know, you're going to need your blockers. It's always a thing. You know, it just keeps your opponent's rookies in check from getting just free swings into security on you, you know, for free. So just keeping one blocker in play just keeps your opponent, you know, just keeps them mellowed out. We also still have the Greymons here. I did cut him down from 4 to 3 though. The 11 champions, it seems to be a really good ratio. I was running 12 for a long time. I did drop down to 11 when I was playing blue, and it just really works. I mean, it's great. There's no real hindrance I ever saw. I had enough draw power that it never really affected me, even in red. The reason I went with the Greymon is now we're kind of, and I'm going to show this later in some other card choices. We're less about just going to that one big beastly tower and just punching your opponent in the face for crazy security checks, okay? We're pulling a little bit away from that. I mean, very, very little bit away from that. We're still keeping 3 of the 4, so just 1 less is all. So going on from there, we've got our Guardimon. I've only got him at 3, okay? We were running him at 4 in 1.0. But in 1.5, we're also getting the Lava Guardimon, and this is the what is it? The ultimate version of Volcanic Dramon, right? So it's another 2-cost evolution, which is great. He is a 7 play cost though, whereas the Guardimon's only a 5. Playing a Guardimon from hand honestly isn't that bad of a play. Same with when you're playing blue and you would drop a Monzaemon straight from your turn, like turn 1, just a hard play a Monzaemon for 5, it worked, okay? It wasn't that bad of a play, because that's a level 5 instantly on field. You just skip so much steps, and it's actually more efficient sometimes to go straight into the Guardimon and skipping, you know, all the steps before it. Just how it is. So pretty great that we have a second 2-cost evolution here. I didn't maximize on it though. I could have gone 4 and 4 on these super easily. It's pretty common when in Japan and overseas, everyone playing the original Japanese release, 4 and 4 of these guys was fairly common. But I did see every once in a while some people would deviate, and they would top when they would deviate. And I went with the Skull Greymon. Oh my god, just here recently, every time I get a Skull Greymon on my hand, it puts in work. It puts in so much value that I just cannot get over how much value I get off my Skull Greymons. 7 cost is a bit much, but being able to just nuke a level 4 off my opponent's side of the field, and a level 4 blocker at that, is just so good. Blockers are such a nuisance. They can stop you from winning games so often, and just being able to delete one clears off any potential for them to evolve on top of it. It just sets them so far back, especially because usually when people go into their blockers, they're at a position where they can't win anymore, right? And they're really getting on the defensive because they have no good offensive plays to go into. So you drop Skull Greymon, and not only are they out of defensive plays now, but now they probably don't have their offensive plays either, because they're probably going to go into that defensive for a bit and then bounce off that defense and then go into some offense because of that base there. So getting rid of their defense also kills their offense, and I just love Skull Greymon for that. This is what I'm going to go with for now. If Skull Greymon just stops putting in work in 1.5, the meta changes that drastically, that blockers are no longer an issue, which I really don't see likely, considering black is going to be coming in like real strong. So with black coming up as a potential, rogue threat, then Skull Greymon just all that more value instantly, especially with like Ragnarlordmon builds where they build into the blocker variant. Definitely going to be a great great play playing Skull Greymon to kill a Ragnalordmon. So cannot wait to do that. All right, next we're gonna jump up into our megas here. I did have a good amount of like decision making on this one. Okay, on what to play. We have the new addition here is Blitz Greymon. Blitz Greymon is essentially one of our new answers to dealing with other big threats. So when your opponent gets their boss monster out, right, and you're sitting on your level 5, you can go into this Blitz Greymon and Digivolve 2 off of them, right? So you'll take their 6s down to 4s, or you'll take their 7s down to 5s, right? That's huge. That's a huge play to be able to do that. Essentially just clears off their big threat, sets them back so much, and it's also just a great way to get around things. So stuff like Millenniummon, this is a great counter to Millenniummon because it's not deleting it while it has inheritables, it's just de-digivolving it, and that's so much better. It is a massive 4 Digivolve cost, which is huge for level 6. We've had them before. So often when you go into these guys, you have to pass your turn, and that's a huge drawback, but being able to essentially clear their field of their big stuff is the best part. Also, a nice piercing, which is pretty cool, so even if you're not going to Digivolve right over this immediately, you have piercing with it, which is super cool, so you get extra value out of this card. And he's a 12k, which is great, because we don't have to worry about being an 11k, and 11ks are just hard to work with, okay, unless you have a good amount of inheritables to get you up over, into 13 or higher. 11k was always iffy, and even worse, 10k. So speaking of 10ks, I've got the Volcanic Dramon here. Volcanic Dramon is, I still like having him in the main deck here, just because Rookie Rush is always a potential. Playing against Purple does a lot of rookie shenanigans. They have a lot of rookies they like to use. They have a lot of level 4s like Devimon, which is a huge issue for this deck. Just all the Devimons just get to instantly take out whatever big stuff you have. Being able to drop a Volcanic Dramon to clear out that threat, very nice. So I did have him here as a 2 of. And then last, we still got the Phoenix Mons at 3. I wish I could run this at 4. It did not fit. It's just, I didn't want to run 4 Phoenix and only 1 Volcanic. That's what my original thoughts were, run 4 Phoenix, 1 Volcanic. But with only 1 Volcanic, the chances of seeing it in a match are just so slim. At 2 of, I can see it often enough that I can draw into it and hold it for when I need it. Okay, and that's why the others are at 3 of, because I like to be able to draw into them and play them, Digivolve up into them when I get the chance, immediately going into these guys. Whereas the Volcanic, I like just having him there as, just in case kind of scenario. So kept him at a 2 of instead of a 1 of, just because 1 of is just not consistent enough for me. As well as he's a fire level 6, and that is great because we're playing Alter S Omnimon and regular Omnimon here, and being able to Digivolve on top of him. If I couldn't Digivolve on top of him, I wouldn't even play him. The same reason I don't play Puppetmon in this deck is just because I can't Digivolve over them, okay? And that's pretty much it. That's the only reason I don't play those guys, and that's why I'm willing to play Volcanic Dramon, is because I can. If I didn't, I'd probably just play 4 and 4 of these guys. Alright, next up, Omnimon. I'm going with 2 of the regular ones. Okay, I know some people do 3 of this one and 2 of Alter S, but I really like Alter S. I think he's got just so much potential to be just more impactful. The 1 delete is pretty nice, but it's not an end-all be-all, okay? Just clearing out one thing just doesn't do enough. Whereas with Alter S down here, we can Digivolve 1, which essentially will clear out anything major, any major threat on my opponent's side of the field. It'll clear it out, and that's enough. Okay, that's really is, because then I can just attack over it or whatever. I can handle it any other way. But more than that, I can go into an Alter S so much sooner. I don't have to worry about holding my Omnimon for that right play, because I don't want to do it too soon. I only want to play it on like a level 6 or maybe a level 5. Alter S, I can be a little more liberal with playing it. That's why I'm running it at a 3 of, so that way I can do it multiple times if need be. Whereas the regular Omnimon, I like just to save for like a really good important play. So if I'm going to be going through the Alter S's a lot quicker, I'd rather have more Alter S's, and that's why I went with the 3 of instead of the reversed. So for those of you who don't know, Alter S is our new Omnimon edition, right? Essentially, it's a color swap, or so we got red and was it red and blue or red and orange there, and it's just really cool artwork. It's so cool, just absolutely love it. Essentially, their roles, I believe, are reversed, if that's what it is. It's like I think the gun turns into War Greymon right this time, and then the sword comes out of Metal Guardimon. Also, so when Digivolving, went over that de-Digivolve all of your opponent's Digimon and by 1. Then delete all your opponent's Digimon with 5,000 DP or less. Oh, so good. So it's essentially Blitz Greymon combined with like Volcanic Dramon, right? We get this mass delete. So not only are we de-Digivolving 1, like I said, you can de-Digivolve the opponent's main threat, right? If they have a level 7 or level 6, you can de-Digivolve those down and then immediately delete pretty much everything else, because the whole field gets de-Digivolved, right? So the big boss no longer there a threat. Everything else that was supporting the boss, they all de-Digivolve too, which pretty much guarantees that they all enter that Omnimon or that Alter S popping range of 5,000 or less. That's super great. Also, like all of your level 4s, like pretty much most level 4s, the only ones are going to be these vanillas that some people are playing. Not everyone's going to be playing. So it's a real nice big blanket deletion here, just wiping out the whole field. Potentially even some level 5s if they're playing some really weird level 5 choices, but pretty much most level 4s and below. So great card. Also, when attacking, you make this Digimon unblockable for the turn by returning one of its level 6 Digivolution cards to your hand. Not as good. We don't get that multi-attack off, which is a real shame, which is one of the whole reasons that people probably prefer to play 3 of the regular over 2 of him, is because they like to get that multiple attacks off. But honestly, in my experience, I would say 3 out of 4 times that I bring an Omnimon onto the field, it dies before I ever get to attack twice in one turn. So just food for thought. You're going to drop an Omnimon. The chances of you also getting to attack with that Omnimon are pretty slim. And that's one of the reasons I was going with the less of the security attack bonus Greymon, simply because this deck is way more about control than it ever has been before. So while yes, we are these big beefy Digimon here with these big high DPs and able to get multiple security attacks in or security checks and everything like that, we have a lot more control now, which is really cool. With the Blitz Greymon here, then the 2 Omnimons for whatever the situation calls for. It's great. Got the Volcanic Dramon as not only our only option of control anymore, and I think that's just super beneficial. Also playing the Skull Greymon as well. We got a lot more control, and of course our 4 Gaia Force. I might as well mention that now. You can see it on the screen. Huge card. I mean, one of the best options in the game. This and Hammer Spark are like the main ones, right? Just delete anything you want, or gain 2 memory and security and pass your turn, because that really sucks, let me tell you, hitting that in security. But we got all this control. So if you can control your opponent's board state, you can pretty much just slowly take out their security and win. So that's one of like Green's whole strategies, is they control the field, and once they have control, then they just clear out the security. With Red, we can kind of just do that at the same time, which is great. We can control the field and just destroy security all in like the same turn. So that's super, super important. And so that's the whole deck right there. I have it estimated at $662 right now. Holy crap. But that's with prices being inflated, so that's just how it goes sometimes. So zooming out here, that is the full deck 50 cards there. Like I said, there was a couple parts in there we could have done a little bit of variation on. The Omnimon ratios there could have been swapped. The Volcanic Dramons, if you want, you could drop them or drop it down to 1, go up to Phoenixmon. Like I said, I really wish I could run the Phoenixmon at a 4 of, just because it makes it a lot easier to get into Omnimons rather than going with a Blitz Greymon, because Blitz Greymon pretty much guarantees you're going to pass your turn almost 9 times out of 10. So it's just how it works. And if you don't, and you do go into Omnimon, you're going to give your opponent a lot of memory to work with. So that is another drawback. Another ratio issue is the Skull Greymons. If you don't think Skull Greymon's going to do you any good, you can drop it. You can go up to 4 and 4 if you want, or you can put in Metal Tyrannomon. I don't think Metal Tyrannomon's quite worth it. I always was real hesitant when I attacked with mine in 1.0, so just be cautious of that. You're going to lose him way more often than you realize, just because there's so much things that are going to be bigger. You're only at best going to be at a 12k with the new Digimon. If you have Digimon underneath and it's live, maybe you can be at 12k. If you have an Agumon, you know, as well. It takes both of those guys together just to get you to match some of the most basic stuff. So just be cautious if you want to use Metal Tyrannomon. I'd rather just control the board state and then get into my bosses and then just let them take care of business. That's how I feel about it, at least. But ultimately, play what you want, all right? Let me know what you guys think of this deck ratios, you know, if you like them or not, what you're going to be playing, because I'm super excited. 1.5 comes out tomorrow. By the time y'all see this, 1.5 will be out tomorrow, and I'm so stoked. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like and comment, as well as subscribe if you haven't already. If you enjoy this type of content, I try to put it out as much as possible, so definitely subscribe. Also, if you really enjoyed the content, check out my Patreon. I have a link in the description below for it. You can get access to my Discord server, as well as if you're a Dragon Village Inn fan, account takeovers where I help you out with your account. If you're a Digimon fan, I've got monthly giveaway, well, not even giveaways, I've got monthly merch that's specific to Patreon, stuff like memory counters, custom made. This is the baby form of Vmon here. There's going to be more in the works also, so lots of memory counters, all kinds of awesome Digimon merch. So definitely check out that tier, and if you're just all out crazy, there's other tiers if you're that dedicated. As well as check out my Teespring. I've got awesome merch there, you know, official Battle Ready Ink merch. Awesome phone cases for you Digimon fans out there. They've got them for iPhones as well as Samsungs. So they are super sweet. If you've seen the last Digimon movie, that's where these are from. I had a friend of mine custom make these so that way they fit perfectly on these phone cases. They look super good. So definitely check those out. But at the end of the day, if you can't do any of that, just like I said, like the video. That helps a ton. And subscribe. It doesn't hurt, but it helps me. So that's what's the real benefit. And as always, I'll see you next time.